Alright y'all, I'm building a vent hood today, so I figured I'm going to do a few videos as I go along during the course of the day and kind of show y'all my process and how I do things. I see a lot of people interested in them. I've posted a few here and there and there's always questions, so I'm going to try to show y'all what I do. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and post them up. I'm not good at the videos, so I might miss some stuff here and there, so y'all just kind of bear with me. First thing you got to know when you're doing a vent hood, you got to know your dimensions. You got to know what size the unit is, the vent unit that they're using. So I've got all that wrote down, but my vent hood is 36 at the bottom, 36 overall to the furthest point, which is this trim right here. I know my height because of the ceiling. And where I'm at, my code is I have to stay 30 inches above the cooktop surface with any exposed wood. Now, if you're doing one and you need to look at your codes wherever you're at and see what you've got to do, if you Google it and look at it for the actual vent, they say the actual vent itself needs to be 28 to 36, no higher than 36, no lower than 28 off of the stovetop surface. And when I'm doing these are real simple. Now your vent hood needs to be the focal point of your kitchen. It's the focal point, but it doesn't need to draw away from the kitchen. It needs to bring your eyes to the kitchen and then allow you to see the rest of the kitchen. So it needs to blend in. It needs to stand out and blend in all at the same time. Now this is a shaker style kitchen, so I'm doing minimal trim. All my trim, I'm doing a piece of trim here, and trim here, and it's just going to be a 3/4 square trim so it blends in with the shaker style. Now on mine, you've basically got a bottom box that accepts your vent. You've got a top box that's square so you can wrap your house crown around it. And then you've got this center cowl. And that is what most people have questions on, is how to do the curves or the angles depending on what you've got. So this is what I've got on this one. My vent hood itself is going to be 53 inches tall, 36 inches wide at the widest point. This does not attach to the cabinets. And when I do something like this, I try to allow at least 2 inches between the cabinet and the closest point. I want to make it so if later on down through the years they decide to repaint their walls, I want the painter to at least be able to take a long handled brush and get in there. You got to think about everything when you're doing a set of cabinets. Alright, so that is what I'm doing. So I've got it started here. I've started laying it out. I'll bring you over here. Every time we do something like this, we need to do a layout. Now I've got my bottom box laid out. That's where my trim's going to be. Trim on top, trim on bottom. And I've got the top box laid out. Top box is 20 inches plus the trim. The bottom box is 36 to the trim. That trim's 3/4, so 1.5 inches off of 36. I've got 34.5 inch box, which that will accept my vent. I've got it tall enough. I got it 10 inches tall, so that will accept the vent. It won't have any problems. Now I start off on my layout, I start off with a center line. Start off with the center line and then come off on each side for my sizes. And then for the cowl to start my angle, I measure from that center line to this point right here. That's where my curve is going to start. Same thing on the top. I come and I measure from the center line to right here. That's where my curve is going to start, right there. I take that, move this out of the way. I take that and I transfer it to another board. Now you see I got two lines here. I started off with one. I didn't like the way it was working out, so I changed it up a little bit in mid layout. Sometimes you got to do that. Now to get this curve, you see I got a screw here and a screw here. That's how I did mine. I've got this thing screwed down to the table. I took me a piece of 1/4 inch poplar. This is what I use for my scribe molding on painted jobs. I hold it up to my point. I put the screw right behind it. Same thing at the bottom. I hold it to the point it needs to be, and I put the screw right behind it. Once my screws are there, I just take that, bend it in where I think it looks good, and just mark it. That's that simple. Now I'm going to come back and cut this and sand it and transfer it to my template and use this for my ribs that hold that cowl together. And that is the start of it right there. It's that simple. Now when you're doing the curve, you're not doing a radius, so it doesn't have to be a perfect radius. Doing a radius, that's a whole different story from this. On this, I can just do that and transfer it to both sides of my template. Alright, basically that's my first video here. I'm going to get some more work done on it, and I'll do some more videos as I go along. Right now I'm just in the laying out process, but the next video I'll have something built and we'll go from there. Alright y'all, thanks for watching.